in the chat room, there's somebody with an answer.
So another question from Raymond is, can you tell us a little bit about the makeup today? Is there something that was done at all?
I don't know. She did her own makeup.
Anything specific for the tattoos? You just left them as they are?
We have the mic now.
Tattoos are, to make them look really shiny, just put regular lotion on them, which I actually didn't do today. And my makeup, it's just eyeliner and mascara. Nothing special. That's all.
Thank you.
I would say that Autumn is she's blessed with really good skin, so yeah, a little baby oil maybe would help with the tattoos, but we will do a little tattoo enhancing in post too.
Cool.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the post on these. Really excited to see the final product.
Yeah.
going
Well,
to be
I'm excited to
exciting.
kind of get started. That's sort of why I want to like stop shooting now, so I can start.
Is your brain
All right.
racing?
with-
Let's do it.
Is your
Let's
brain
do it.
racing as far as the images you've seen? Do you know in your mind already the 5 or the 4 that you have seen that you would like to?
No,
You don't know
I
that
wouldn't. I wouldn't trust. I can't remember
Okay.
exactly. I'm gonna have to look at all of them and take some time to make some picks, and so that's going to happen during the lunch break. So I think we'll take
Well, with that,
we'll take an early break
Yeah,
so I
wait,
can
perfect.
jump in there and.
sounds like we are ready to do that. So we're going to take a 45-minute lunch break. And I just wanted to read off something that was on Facebook from a regular here and somebody, a woman, Emily Evans Sloan, who has been here in our studio audience, who said, "Let me just say thank you to LeeVaris. I am not entirely sure what I did, but somehow I was able to get rid of some blotchy skin on a newborn photograph by trying to remember what steps I saw him use today." This was from last night with the RGB channels. And I know I am only beginning to grasp everything I heard, but just this evening I made tons and tons of progress. So thank you very much.
Good. That's
Putting things
exactly
to
what I
action
like to
right
hear.
away.
All right.
Okay. David Soto in the chat room had said, great answer. It's all about the feeling. And I really like that comment. And I just want to say that it is all about the feeling, but you really need to know all of this technical stuff like the back of your hand before you can focus on the feeling. You really need to have that stuff dialed in. And Tammy, I really appreciated you getting up and shooting. I know that's difficult and you're out of your comfort zone and you really push yourself, and I really appreciated you doing that. And for everyone watching at home, everyone has different comfort zones and we all have a different amount of knowledge. But this course is perfect for all of you who would like to have this information known like the back of your hand so you can focus on the feeling. We really are covering so much more than skin in this workshop as well. But if you take portraits, you need to know this stuff. So I highly suggest that you purchase this course. And if you scroll down the course page right now, purchase the course now, and that will give you a great discounted price because the price will be going up shortly. So do that now, folks, and we will be back in 45 minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, as we go into our final half of LeeVaris's Skin Workshop. Give away another prize.
First, I'd like to give a big happy birthday to Teth, who I'm not sure what his title is, his technical title, sound director, something along those lines. So
He's
big
Teth.
happy birthday to Teth. We adore him, so just wanted to say that.
Sound
All right.
engineer.
Sound engineer. Thank you. Okay, we're going to give away our...
He's the man.
That'll work.
We'll just
He is the
say
man.
that.
Happy birthday to Teth the man. All right, and our prize that we are giving away this afternoon is a Dynalite Quad Square 48-inch silver umbrella. The winner of that prize is Roy Matusek, and Roy's Twitter handle is Pale Drunk Monk. And his quote today is, "Don't focus on the equipment, focus on the concepts and the technique." So thank you very much to Dynalite, and congratulations to Roy. And I think are you ready to take it away, Lee?
More or less.
More or less?
I'm still, trying to sort through these pictures here, but Welcome back. I am, I don't know where we, oh, we're looking at what I'm seeing. I'm waiting for the files to finish transferring from the camera. But basically, I've pulled in the shots and I've sort of made some preliminary choices. And right now I'm just applying my grayscale, my gray card calibration to the rest of the files. So we can see them gradually, slowly, they're coming in and readjusting for the neutral on that gray card. And as soon as that's done, then we can kind of really start looking at these. But I have starred the ones that I wanted to work with, or at least I wanted to consider. So let me, I guess, nope, it's not flagged, it's rated. There we go. Rated, okay. So bear with me now, the Lightroom is finishing up the rendering, the conversion to neutralize to that gray card. So in a moment we can really kind of start looking at these. Okay, let's, so there's my leaping shot. That was like the second one that I did. And pretty gratified that I caught the action on that and I didn't embarrass myself. So we're going to look at some of these others. And I'm going to only work on a couple pictures out of these. So I just want to review them for myself and try and decide what would be a good one to work with. And I must tell you that when my normal process, I like to live with these images for a while. I don't, I go through them like I've done here, and I sort of make a one-star pick. And those are the ones that I think have the most potential. And then I like to kind of live with them for a while and try not to make, a snap judgment. I come back to it a day later and look and see, and sometimes I change my mind. The ones that I think were going to be the hero shots, I'll come back a day later and I feel differently about it. So I'm feeling a little, kind of rushed right now to kind of come up with something to finish this day off, because there is some good stuff here. And, maybe, so my process, I go through the ones that I think are workable and I give them a star. And then I go through again and try to pick the ones that really stand out, that I really think are more interesting. And I'll give them 2 stars. We're going to 1-star that again and go back. This one I think is better. The problem is when you get so many good shots and you kind of like, you love too many of them, and it's like, I don't want to work on that many images. So I'm trying to trim this down, but she was fabulous. We're getting such good
that
stuff.
happens to so many of us, so we'd love to, continue to hear what's going through your mind.
And is it easy for you to talk out loud while you're doing this, or is it hard?
I'm a little, for me it's sort of like I get so in focused, and I'm, it's harder for me to sort of talk about my intuitive process, what's going on. What do I see in this that I intuit is better than something else? And I'm just sort of looking at we got so much good stuff that it's just really, like I really like this, but it may not illustrate something for the class. So I'm trying to pick things that I can illustrate a bunch of different techniques on. There was a question. You had a question?
Well, since when you were shooting, you said that you were first starting off with some dance shots, so a lot of movement and emphasis on body. And by the end, you were concentrating on some portrait work. So right now, at this point, since those tend to go in two different directions, have you already decided that you're going to look more towards the portrait or more towards the movement ones?
Well, I want to have, you know, I'm gonna do something with this shot, you know, just, you know, because it's such a great action shot.
Lovely.
And I can do a little figure enhancing on this, you know, because not that she didn't have a great body, but for the ideal kind of thing, which we're always asked to do, and it's sort of a touchy thing because I always feel like there's way too much retouching going on, you know, and our culture has just a kind of a bizarre fixation on this very specific kind of ideal that's sort of unnatural. So, and I'm always kind of asked to cross that line in my own retouching people, you know, make her thinner, you know, and you've seen those sort of Photoshop disasters where they're so emaciated that they couldn't, you know, stand up, you know. But there are things that almost every fashion photo, it has some body contouring done in it. And I think you're going to need to know how to do that, so you might as well figure out how to do it right. And, you know, this has great action in it, but we're going to be working the torso a little bit to kind of idealize it. And it's sort of unnatural because you can't make everyone be perfect in every possible position. But when we're asked to show something in a magazine, they want it to be perfect. It's an ideal. It's not reality. It's a fantasy. So, so I just want to pick like maybe 3 shots to work with. Let's see what I think I've already made some 2-star selects here. Let's see what I got. Okay. So I got this, Now let's see, among these 3. Well, I'm definitely going to use that. So I will submit it to the studio audience here. What I needed to decide is among these 3, this one, or this one, which one? Number two, this one? Okay, good. So that gets 3. Yep. All right, so these are the 3 that we're going to work on. And we'll do 3 or higher here. Okay, so I feel somewhat at a loss because my view of this image, I think the monitor calibration is a little out. So it's kind of seems a little contrasty and a little saturated. So I'm not really sure what people out there in internet land are seeing in terms of color. So I'm going to be sort of conservative in how I adjust these. But let's go into develop mode and we'll at least put a crop. So what I'm going to do is ultimately I'm going to mask this figure out of the background. So I'm not concerned about composition in the frame so much, so I'm just going to crop right to the figure here because I'm going to remove all this anyway and put her on a different background. So we'll go through all of these and crop to the figure. So I'm just going to establish an initial crop here in Lightroom. For all of these. And I've done some sort of basic adjustments, and I'm a little nervous about doing too much in Lightroom because I'm not really quite 100% sure what I'm looking at here. Subtle brightening. It seems like we were a little rich on our exposure. Opening the shadows a little bit because I want to make sure I have good detail in her hair. This one maybe seems like I don't need as much opening it up. So I'm going to bring the exposure back down. And okay, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this in Photoshop. We'll start with this one. And with any luck, Photoshop will be okay, good. Okay, so ultimately I'm going to take this out, just strip this figure out of the background and mask it. And so we're going to look at refine edge in masking. But first, I'm going to do a little shaping, a little body shaping. And I'll duplicate the background first before we get into that. So back in the day, it used to be quite difficult to get good contouring on the figure, but we've had a tool now in Photoshop the last couple of versions called Liquify that makes this process a lot easier. So I'm going to go here to the Liquify filter. It's more of an actual tool. You get a whole interface for this, and we're going to be using this forward warp tool. Let me see if I got my mouse pose thing. We'll turn on our keystrokes again. This tool allows you to treat the image as if it was made out of plastic, and you can push it and distort it very effectively. But the secret to using the tool is to put the brush pressure way down. So we can use the brush pressure, keep it way, way down here, like maybe 15. And that makes it just easier to work this tool. So this tool responds to the usual keyboard shortcuts for the size of the brush. So I'm using the bracket keys. And get a moderately large brush here, and what do you think I'm going to do, right? Everybody wants to be thinner. And so the trick is to try and do that and make it look like you didn't do anything, right? Which is sometimes a little difficult. And it's easy to get carried away. So the idea of using a very low brush pressure is that I can kind of distort this slowly. So you want to really work very slowly and keep evaluating and make sure you're not like just getting ridiculous with it. And then I'm going to come back in here, or shrink that brush down a little bit. I'm going to make instead of a hard corner here, I'm going to kind of make that a little more gentle. She's really doing an incredible back bend here, so the physics does not support what we would consider an elegant S shape in the back here, but I'm going to cheat a little bit, kind of force that to be a little less of a corner.